Welcome, gents. A smart man knows what to say. A wise man knows when to stay quiet. You've probably noticed how Sigma males sometimes act like they don't know what's going on. They let people explain things to them, nod quietly, and seem lost in thought while others try to show off. But make no mistake, this isn't weakness or confusion. It's strategy. Sigma males understand that being openly smart invites competition, jealousy, and noise. So instead of flexing their minds, they let others reveal who they really are. They know that the quiet ones always see more. When they pretend not to know, people talk freely, drop their masks, and expose their true motives. The Sigma simply listens, observes, and connects dots that others can't even see. That's real intelligence, the kind that doesn't need attention to prove itself. Many Sigma males grew up realizing that showing how smart they were only made others uncomfortable. So they learned the art of appearing average while thinking far beyond the surface. It's not about playing dumb. It's about knowing when to hold back. If you've ever felt like you had to downplay your intelligence to survive in fake circles, you're not broken, you're strategic. You've learned what most never will. Silence speaks louder than intellect. So watch this video to the end, because by the time we're done, you'll understand why pretending not to know might be the smartest move you ever make. Let's get started, gents. Number 1. They know invisible intelligence is the most powerful kind. Most people spend their whole lives trying to prove how smart they are. They drop big words in conversations, brag about what they've achieved, and argue just to sound right. But a Sigma male? He does the complete opposite. He knows that invisible intelligence is the most powerful kind. He doesn't need to show it because he's already living it. Real genius to him isn't about standing in the spotlight. It's about seeing the bigger picture while everyone else is busy chasing applause. He knows that the one who speaks less sees more. The one who watches quietly often holds the real power in the room. That's the secret of the Sigma male. He doesn't crave recognition, he craves understanding. When people underestimate him, he doesn't feel insulted. He feels protected. Because being underestimated gives him the freedom to move without resistance. He can observe, plan, and act while others are too busy performing for attention. He knows that once people realize how sharp he truly is, they'll either fear him or try to compete with him. So he keeps it hidden. His silence is not weakness, it's control. He understands that the loudest person is rarely the one in charge. The one who knows but doesn't speak is the one who truly directs the outcome. Every quiet move he makes is intentional. Every word he withholds is power saved. Invisible intelligence is not about pretending to be less. It's about knowing more than you reveal. A Sigma male uses his mind like a shadow, unseen yet always present, shaping the room without being noticed. And that's what makes him dangerous in the best way possible. While others show off what they know, he builds what they can't even imagine. That's not just intelligence. That's mastery in silence. Number 2, they protect their power through underestimation. A Sigma male knows something most people never figure out. Being underestimated is one of the smartest advantages you can have. When others think you're not much of a threat, they drop their guard. They start talking too much, revealing their plans, exposing their weaknesses. Meanwhile, the Sigma just listens, observes, and stores every piece of information like ammunition. He's not in a hurry to prove himself because he knows that real power never announces itself. He understands that when people think you're slow or simple, they relax around you. They stop watching closely. And that's exactly when he makes his move. While they're showing off, he's studying their patterns. While they're chasing attention, he's preparing strategy. By the time they realize he was 10 steps ahead, it's already too late. Being underestimated gives him freedom. It allows him to move without interference, to make progress quietly. He doesn't waste energy trying to look impressive. He invests that same energy into understanding how everything works: people, systems, opportunities, weaknesses. The Sigma doesn't want to dominate loudly. He prefers to win silently, and when he does, it's always clean and precise. He knows that the loud ones burn out fast. The showy ones attract envy, and the ambitious ones get predictable. But the one who hides his sharpness, he becomes untouchable. Every time someone misjudges him, it's like handing him an advantage on a silver platter. So when a Sigma male lets people think he's behind, it's never because he is. It's because he knows that invisibility is a shield. He lets others waste their energy trying to prove something while he builds quietly in the shadows. Then one day, he steps forward, and everyone wonders how he got so far ahead. That's not luck. That's the power of being underestimated, used perfectly by someone who understands timing better than anyone else. Number 3, they protect their creativity from contamination. A Sigma male treats his creativity like a secret weapon. He knows that once you expose something pure to the wrong crowd, it starts losing its power. That is why he rarely shares his ideas too early. He has learned that not everyone who listens is trying to understand. Some are just waiting to copy. So instead of talking about what he's building, he quietly keeps building. He understands that loud minds often lack depth. They echo what they hear, not what they truly know. And if he allows them into his creative process, they'll try to reshape it, question it, or water it down until it no longer feels like his own. So he protects his ideas the same way a warrior protects his sword, close to his chest, sharp and untouched. For the Sigma male, creativity isn't about showing off. It's about bringing something real into the world, something that carries his personal fingerprint. That kind of originality can't survive in noisy spaces filled with borrowed thoughts and shallow trends. So he stays silent, not because he's secretive by nature, but because he understands that creativity needs protection from careless minds. When others rush to announce every plan, he stays still. He lets his work speak only when it's strong enough to stand on its own. By that time, imitators can only chase his shadow because the original thought has already moved miles ahead. He also knows that every great idea begins fragile. Share it too soon, and it gets twisted by opinions and doubts that never belonged there. That's why he keeps his vision pure, letting it grow in solitude until it's powerful enough to face the world untouched. A Sigma male's silence isn't mystery, it's preservation. He guards his creativity from contamination because he knows that once something is truly his, it deserves to stay undiluted. And when he finally releases it, it doesn't just make noise, it changes the game. Number 4, they enjoy watching arrogance collapse. A Sigma male has no interest in arguing with arrogance. He has seen it too many times. People who confuse volume with intelligence, confidence with wisdom, and pride with strength. When someone mistakes his silence for stupidity, he doesn't rush to correct them. He simply steps aside and lets time do the talking. Because he knows something the arrogant never do. Ego always trips over itself. He doesn't need to prove he's right. He doesn't need to expose anyone. He just watches calmly as arrogance begins to unravel. The louder a person boasts, the easier it is to see their cracks. The Sigma understands that when someone underestimates him, they hand him an invisible advantage. They relax. They stop thinking critically. They expose their real flaws while thinking they're untouchable. And the Sigma takes mental notes, not revenge. He's a master at observing human behavior. He knows that arrogance feeds on attention, so he starves it. The moment he refuses to react, the arrogant person loses control. They start revealing too much, contradicting themselves, and exposing their weaknesses piece by piece. The Sigma just watches quietly, knowing the fall is inevitable. He's not being passive. He's being precise. While others get pulled into emotional battles, he keeps his energy intact. He trusts that truth has a strange way of surfacing without help. And when it does, it's always poetic. Those who mocked him end up proving his point without him saying a single word. There's a quiet satisfaction in that moment. Not revenge, but confirmation. The Sigma doesn't celebrate someone's downfall. He simply nods, knowing life just taught them a lesson he didn't have to. That's the power of restraint. He knows that silence can destroy ego faster than confrontation ever could. And that's why the Sigma male always wins, not by force, but by patience and clarity. Number 5, they understand that truth sounds different in echo chambers. A Sigma male has learned that in most groups, people don't speak to share truth. They speak to be heard. Everyone wants to sound intelligent, to win approval, to outshine the next person. The room becomes an echo chamber where the same safe ideas keep bouncing around, getting louder, but never deeper. That's when the Sigma quietly leans back, observing in silence. He doesn't fight to be part of the noise because he knows that truth doesn't need to shout to be real. He listens, not just to what people are saying, but to what they are avoiding. He catches the small contradictions, the insecurity behind the confident tone, the fear behind the laughter. Where others hear noise, he hears patterns. That's why he doesn't rush to speak. He's too busy collecting data. The Sigma male knows that real insight often hides in stillness. When everyone is trying to sound smart, he's watching who's actually thinking. He can tell the difference between someone who truly understands and someone who just wants to look clever. He knows that wisdom doesn't come from volume, it comes from awareness. He understands that echo chambers kill originality. They trap people in agreement, making them afraid to question what's popular. But the Sigma isn't afraid of silence or disagreement. He'd rather hold an unpopular truth than join a crowd built on false confidence. When he finally speaks, it's never to impress. It's to cut through the noise. And when his words land, they hit differently, because they're not echoes, they're conclusions born from real thought. That's what separates him from the crowd. While others chase validation, he chases understanding. He knows the loudest voices often fade first, but truth lasts quietly. And in a world that loves the sound of its own voice, the Sigma's silence is the one thing that actually speaks. Number 6, they are selective about where to reveal sharpness. A Sigma male understands that not every space deserves access to his mind. He's aware that intelligence, when shared with the wrong audience, often turns into noise. So he doesn't bother trying to sound smart everywhere he goes. He saves his sharpness for the few who can actually handle it, for those who value thought more than performance. He knows that deep thinking is a rare language, and not everyone speaks it. Some people just want to argue, some want to compete. Others only listen long enough to steal an idea and pretend it's theirs. The Sigma sees through all of that. That's why he stays quiet in most rooms. He's not being distant. He's conserving energy. He's filtering the world to see who's truly worth exchanging thoughts with. When he finds the right company, though, he opens up. His words become precise, his insights sharp, and his conversations magnetic. Because now he's in a space that matches his frequency, where thinking deeply isn't mocked, and silence isn't mistaken for weakness. In those rare moments, he lets his mind breathe freely, knowing he's finally surrounded by people who get it. The Sigma male treats his intellect like a finely tuned instrument. He doesn't play it in every room just to prove he can. He waits for the right audience, the right tone, and the right moment. Because brilliance wasted on shallow ears is a tragedy he refuses to repeat. His selectiveness isn't arrogance, it's awareness. He knows that what's rare loses value when given too freely, so he guards his insights carefully, revealing them only when they will be understood, not just heard. That's why the Sigma's intelligence always feels effortless. It's not forced, it's measured. He speaks only when his words will land where they matter most. And that's what makes his presence unforgettable. Number 7, they use ignorance as a strategy. A Sigma male has mastered one of the most underestimated skills in human interaction, the art of pretending not to know. To most people, ignorance looks like weakness, but to him, it's a quiet strategy. When he acts unaware, it's not because he's clueless, it's because he's calculating. He knows that when people think you're not informed, they relax. They start revealing things they'd normally keep hidden. They talk more, brag more, and expose more than they should. While they're busy explaining, the Sigma listens with full attention. Every word, every slip, every detail becomes a piece of the puzzle. He collects information without asking for it. His fake ignorance disarms people's defenses. They feel superior, comfortable, and in control, exactly the way he wants them to feel. This strategy isn't manipulation, it's observation. The Sigma male simply understands that people show their truth only when they believe no one is judging them. So he plays along, appearing innocent or uninterested, while his mind stays razor-sharp beneath the surface. By the time others realize he knew more than he let on, he's already several steps ahead. It's not that he enjoys deceiving people. He just knows that knowledge gained quietly has more power than knowledge announced loudly. Sometimes silence and subtlety open more doors than direct questioning ever could. This is why Sigma males rarely reveal their full understanding of a situation. They prefer to act like students even when they're masters. It's how they gather the real story behind people's words, the truth that only slips out when someone feels unthreatened. Their ignorance is not lack of knowledge, it's a mask worn with purpose. Because when others underestimate the depth of their awareness, the Sigma is already decoding everything in real time. That's not naivety, it's silent intelligence at its finest. Number 8, they prefer real results over recognition. A Sigma male doesn't measure intelligence by how well he can talk about it. He measures it by what he can actually build, fix, or create. He's not chasing recognition because he understands that applause doesn't pay off in the long run, results do. While others are busy advertising their potential, he's busy turning his into something real. He finds no thrill in showing off what he knows. Words don't impress him. Outcomes do. He'd rather spend a long night solving a problem no one else could crack than waste time trying to convince people how smart he is. For him, intelligence is a tool, not a trophy. It's meant to be used, not displayed. When others seek validation, he seeks efficiency. When they argue over who's right, he's already finding a better way forward. The Sigma male has an inner focus that cuts through distractions. He's driven by purpose, not praise. He understands that the loudest talkers often have the least to show for it, while those who stay quiet are usually the ones holding everything together. He knows that recognition fades fast. People forget speeches, promises, and declarations, but they never forget the person whose work silently changes their lives. That's what drives him, the idea that results speak long after words are forgotten. The Sigma male doesn't need his name attached to everything he's done. He gets his satisfaction from watching something he built work flawlessly. That's his version of victory. Quiet, complete, and undeniable. In a world where everyone wants credit, he finds peace in contribution. He doesn't crave to be known. He craves to make a difference. Because at the end of the day, recognition is temporary, but results, they echo. And the Sigma male would rather let his work whisper his genius than his mouth announce it. Number 9, they play the fool to expose the manipulator. A Sigma male has an uncanny way of dealing with manipulators. He doesn't rush to confront or defend himself. Instead, he plays along, quietly, calmly, and deliberately. When someone tries to deceive him, he pretends not to notice. He lets them think their little game is working because he knows something they don't. A manipulator always reveals more when they believe they're in control. While the deceiver thinks they're pulling the strings, the Sigma is already mapping their moves. He watches patterns form, observes inconsistencies, and notes the exact points where truth starts to crack. Every lie told becomes a breadcrumb leading straight back to the source. He collects these details patiently, knowing that the bigger the manipulation, the louder its collapse will be. He doesn't need to expose them immediately. He waits for timing to do the heavy lifting. A manipulator's ego always grows faster than their intelligence. Eventually, they push too far, slip up, or contradict themselves. And that's when everything unravels. The Sigma doesn't have to do much. He simply steps aside and lets their own words trap them. What makes this approach powerful is how effortlessly it works. The Sigma understands that silence is a stronger weapon than argument. The moment he reacts emotionally, he gives the manipulator power. But by staying calm and observant, he flips the script. The deceiver ends up revealing not just their lies, but their motives too. The Sigma's patience is not passivity, it's strategy. He knows that exposing a manipulator too early only warns them to hide better next time. But letting them hang themselves with their own rope, that ends the game completely. And when the truth finally surfaces, it always does so with poetic justice. The Sigma doesn't gloat, doesn't celebrate. He just nods because he already knew how this story would end. Number 10, they let others underestimate the terrain. A Sigma male knows the power of letting others think they have the upper hand. He understands that when people believe you're lost, they stop being cautious. They start revealing strategies, showing weaknesses, and making reckless moves. So he acts like he doesn't fully understand what's happening. He keeps his tone neutral, his expressions mild, and his opinions vague. While everyone else is busy proving they know the game, he's quietly studying how it's played. He watches who's leading, who's following, and who's pretending. He notices how people react under pressure, how they shift their tone when advantage appears, and how they hide fear under confidence. The Sigma collects these small details like clues, piecing together the true map of the terrain. By the time everyone else is still bragging about what they think they know, he's already figured out the entire board. This is what makes his silence so dangerous. It isn't ignorance, it's strategy. The Sigma male lets others believe they're in control because he knows that control built on arrogance never lasts. People who underestimate him end up walking straight into their own mistakes, thinking they're ahead while he's quietly predicting their next move. And when the moment comes, when the situation reaches its peak, that's when the Sigma makes his move. Clean, calm, and precise. There's no noise, no announcement, just results that leave others stunned. They wonder how he saw it coming, how he managed to win a game they thought he didn't even understand. That's the beauty of his approach. He doesn't fight to be seen as clever. He uses perception as his weapon. By letting others underestimate the terrain, he gains full visibility of it. And when the time is right, he moves like someone who's been studying the map all along, because he has. Number 11, they test loyalty through pretense. A Sigma male doesn't trust words. He trusts behavior. He knows that loyalty can't be measured by promises or friendly talk. It's revealed through reaction. That's why he sometimes pretends to be lost or confused, not because he needs help, but because he's quietly testing the people around him. He wants to see who steps up, who stays silent, and who secretly enjoys watching him stumble. It's a subtle test, and most people don't even realize it's happening. When he fakes confusion or uncertainty, it's never random. It's calculated. He's observing every expression, every tone shift, every choice people make when they think he's vulnerable. Some will rush to assist with genuine concern. Others will try to use the moment to feel superior or take advantage. And in that instant, the Sigma learns everything he needs to know about where they truly stand. He doesn't get angry or emotional about what he discovers. He just notes it, files it away, and adjusts his boundaries. If someone shows compassion, he values them deeply. If someone mocks or manipulates, he withdraws quietly and never gives them another chance to get close. He believes that truth always appears when you give people the illusion of advantage. This is why the Sigma rarely confronts or warns anyone. He prefers to let actions speak for themselves. His calmness during these silent tests often makes people underestimate him, which only helps reveal their true motives faster. To the Sigma male, loyalty isn't about how someone acts when things are good. It's about how they respond when you seem weak. By pretending to be confused, he strips away everyone's mask. He sees who's real, who's fake, and who's dangerous. And when the test is over, he walks away with a quiet certainty that no amount of words could ever give him. In final words, sometimes the smartest move is to look like you're not playing at all. Sigma males have mastered the art of silence in a world that never stops talking. They know that power doesn't always come from showing what you know. It comes from knowing when to stay quiet. People often mistake their calm for confusion, their patience for weakness, and their stillness for ignorance. But that's where the Sigma's brilliance lies. He doesn't need to prove anything, because truth eventually exposes itself. And when it does, he's always 3 steps ahead. This quiet intelligence isn't cowardice, it's strategy. Sigma males understand that being underestimated is one of the greatest advantages anyone can have. When others drop their guard, thinking he's out of his depth, that's when he observes, learns, and positions himself for the move that changes everything. His silence isn't emptiness, it's calculation. If you've ever felt misunderstood for not showing off your intelligence or for keeping your plans to yourself, you're probably more Sigma than you realize. You see the game for what it is, and you'd rather win it quietly than brag loudly and lose your edge. The world may not clap for you now, but one day, the same people who dismissed you will ask how you did it. So keep playing it smart, stay quiet, keep collecting data while others waste breath. Let them think they're ahead while you're patiently setting up your checkmate. Watch this video till the end. You'll see why pretending not to know might just be the smartest thing you'll ever do. Thank you for watching, Gents, and God bless you.